Sometimes people give up on answering the door simply because there was nobody up in there in the first place. I gave up. Life and opportunity was on the other side, but I didn't take advantage of it. I didn't let anyone in, but most importantly, I didn't let myself out. You see, it was Mother's Day in 1997, and I decided to make my mom give birth to me on a beautiful day. Most mothers would think that it's a blessing to be able to give birth on Mother's Day. And I mean, I personally think I'm the greatest Mother's Day gift of all time. There are those moms who, just clutch onto their baby so tight, you think that the baby might suffocate. And then there was my mom, who had no urge to carry me. She was diagnosed with postpartum depression right when I was born. My parents were young, which means they fought quite a lot. My dad was working day, and then he would go out till really late at night, and my mom blames the depression. But there was also the fact that my dad chose to stay out late. So here I was, a little baby, and a quite cute one at my dad, with no parent to hold me. So knock knock. Who's there? Nobody. A little time passed, and I was now 6 months old. It was another day in the household, which means fighting. My mom had already beat depression, but the fight still continued. But this time, it was different. Furniture was flipped, glass was shattered on the floor, objects were flying through the air. My dad was done. He even threatened to take me away from my family. So my mom runs over to my crib and grabs onto me for her dear life. And that was the first time I was genuinely held. So knock knock, who's there? My mom was. Now, my dad did leave, just without me. He abandoned us. My parents got a divorce, but my dad didn't pay child support. Not a single penny. The government couldn't find him. Heck, they even suspended his driver's license, but did it matter? No. He's missing. 18 years of child support is missing. He could be dead. I could have siblings. But when it came down to it, the reality was my mom had to work multiple jobs just to support me. So day in and day out, she was gone. Even while I was asleep, she was gone. Knock, knock. Should I get the door? Last time my mom was there, and I mean, I'm just a baby, so I'm expecting my mom to be there. But when I opened it, it was back to being nobody. Time flew right on by with nobody at that door. It was now 2005, and I was 8 years old. I began to understand that it was necessary for no one to be on that other side of the door. And when it came to school, it was a total embarrassment to share that my dad had left me. It was my secret that I wanted to keep on my side of the door. It was 11 a.m. on a cloudy day in 2005. My mom was at the doctor's getting tests and checkups because she was having chest pains the past couple of nights. And the worst thing that could happen, happened. She was diagnosed with a tumor lump lying right on her heart vessel. Now, this tumor was too dangerous to operate on, and it was growing bigger and bigger by the minute. So think of the size of a golf ball. My mom's main concern was telling me, how is she going to come home? The doctor told her, it's not looking good. You have 6 to 9 months to live. So knock knock. Who's there? Should I even get the door because I'm used to nobody being there? But I mean, I'm just a curious little kid, so why not? Knock knock. Who's there? Time. And it was ticking at the speed of light. So my mom immediately thinks, oh my gosh, we don't have child support, and I'm gonna die. So what now? Write a will? Live out the bucket list? But again, her main concern was still telling me. And she chose not to because she didn't want it to affect my life. But she did have to tell my grandparents because somebody needed to step up to the plate to take care of me in case something happened to her. So she comes home that night and she tells me, go do kid stuff in your room. And I'm pretty sure that's when all kids know things are about to go down. So I went to my room and I closed the door, and I'm smart and I'm nosy. So here I am, eavesdropping through the door. So imagine being an 8-year-old kid overhearing that your mom was going to die. But also imagine that the only parent in your life didn't want you to know. So I had to act clueless on the outside, but on the inside, I was scared, I was worried, and I definitely didn't want anyone to find out. Knock, knock. Who's there? It didn't matter. I locked the door. I kept it barricaded. My mom got a second opinion from a different doctor, and this doctor said, why don't we try radiation to try to shrink the tumor? So for 3.5 years, my mom not only had to work multiple jobs to support us, she went through radiation every couple of days. Again, she wasn't there. When she would come home, she felt the need to act strong for me. And I still like to act clueless. At this point, she knew that I knew what was going on, and I knew that she knew. She would come home from radiation, throwing up, and I'd still be that jolly little kid, skipping through the grass with rainbows everywhere. I wanted her to think that I was happy. So for 3.5 years, all the knocking, it went unanswered. Then one sunny day in 2009, my mom gets a call from her doctor saying that her tumor was now benign. From the size of a golf ball, it was now the size of maybe a little dime or a tiny little rock. The story became easier to tell because now it was something of the past. But all the years that we've lost together, it couldn't be accounted for. Knock, knock. Who's there? At this point, I'm thinking, wow, we've persevered through so much. What's there to be afraid of on the other side? I'm gonna get the door. Knock, knock. Who's there? And there it was. Hope. Relief. The start of a normal life. What I've come to realize is that people and opportunity are always knocking on our doors. My mistake was that I stopped answering it just because my dad left and my mom had cancer. And whether it was because I was irrationally afraid of what was on the other side of the door, or I just wanted to keep to myself on this side, I realized that I can't be locked up forever. So from now on, every time there's a knock, I'm answering it. Knock, knock. Who's there? Life and opportunity.